Hello YouTube, it's Borders Dude and I'm back with a rather special and big video review. Today I'm taking a look at the TFCon Fans Hobby exclusive God Delta, which is their mashup of the Diaclone powered convoy colours along with some Ultra Magnus parts, giving us a rather unique Ultra Magnus figure. Now this was my premiere pickup at TF Nation, and there was one other chap who was looking to pick this up, and that was Paddy of Fingers of Plastic fame and also Primetime Toys. Now if you don't know who Paddy was, he was one of the guys on the Primetime Toy stall. He was the Irish gentleman, and he's always been great to me when I see him at the cons and just chatting online in general, and he was glad that if anyone else was to pick up this figure at TF Nation, it was me, and asked me nicely to do a review of the figure, so I'm now finally getting around to do that. So we're going to take a look at this figure, not only the cab, the truck, but also the Godbomber that comes with him, or as he's called here, Magnabomber. As you can see, I can't get them all on screen. I'm going to review them and see if, for me especially, being somewhat of a Magnus fan you might say, was it worth the pickup, and more importantly, the price. This will likely be the only time I can use my turntable for any part of this review, just because the figure is so heavy and the turntable's just not going to be able to handle anything else. It's even struggling with this. I thought it'd be good just to show a 360 view of the cab mode, because there's so much detail going on in this matte black plastic, using the yellow where it does on the back of the feet there of the cab, but especially that clear plastic shining through the yellow plastic, coupled with that Powermaster in the middle there, just augments the detail on the cab immensely. It's wonderful looking, and it's always been one of my favourite parts of the Powerbaser mould in general. And having the silver and chrome, especially on the smokestacks and also on the front grille, is just brilliant. Taking the cab off the turntable now, we can see a bit more detail going on. Oh, interesting sound. Love that the fact that the tyres are rubber, and again that silver paint being used on the wheels hubcaps is just a brilliant touch. I absolutely love that they've done that. The smokestacks are brilliantly chromed. Now this one actually snapped off, but that was likely me, due to the additional little bits that you can put on the smokestack if you wish. I was trying to get them on. They're meant to tab into just a tiny little groove in there where my finger was, and that just wasn't happening. Now it doesn't really do anything to change the look of the cab massively aesthetically, so you're not missing much, but I just thought it'd be best to point that out, and of course highlight those fantastic looking wheels. Takes me back to my mask days. Okay, let's take a look at the robot mode from the cab, and this is just stunning. It really does show a lot of character, and that's one good thing about Fans Hobbies figures in general. There's loads of character, loads of chunkiness on their molds as well, which is just brilliant. These colours to me, just the combination shouldn't work. The black, the blue, the yellow, accented with the silver paint and the chromes, they just, to me, they don't seem like they should work, but they do, and it makes all the detail on the figure pop. I love the chrome detailing on his thighs and also on this part of his chest. It is lovely. And again, repeating the clear yellow plastic on top of the detail within the chest. Now, it is a faux chest because there's the original one, but that doesn't matter. That is indeed a nice homage to his Generation 1 counterpart. The design is lovely, the details are there in this robot mode, and articulation is plentiful as you would expect, with the head being able to do its full 360 because it's just on a nice simple ball joint. We've got lovely ratchets in the arm, giving you that range of motion. We've got a fantastic bend at the elbow with indeed a bicep swivel. articulation, and you have some wrist articulation. The fingers are all one piece, although, oh, there we go, we do have one posable finger with the others in tow, and the thumb is moulded. You do get a nab crunch of sorts, but this little catch is in the way, but you do get that lovely rotation on the waist. Now with the legs you do need to move out the crotch piece, but you can get a fantastic range of motion, and again, just those quality ratchets on the figure. Now unfortunately with the sort of vac metal pieces you can see that we get that split. That is unavoidable even on official figures that do carry this, which isn't much to be there these days, to be honest. And just that degree of motion, you do get a lovely ankle tilt, ankle pivot, and yeah, it gives you just a fantastic range of articulation on the figure. And bearing in mind, this is not your complete robot mode, that's still to come, so they've packed a heck of a lot just in the small robot mode, which is brilliant. For the prime cab weapon, what you do is you take one or both of these blasters, remove the front of the blaster, flip down the handle and extend the small barrel at the back, which is giving you almost an Aliens-esque type blaster. Now this just fits into a little slot in the hand, which you can't really see because it's black on black, and we just slide it in. Now it is quite a tight fit, which can be good or bad depending on how you want to look at things with the figure. And there we are, there he is. He's holding his blaster nicely. Really cool way to give him an additional and unique weapon for the figure. Really nice touch. And lastly for this mode, let's do a size comparison. Here is the Make Toys Cupola, or their version of Chrome Dome. So you can see he's quite a big chap. We can then bring in a more traditional MP style size bot, which is of course the wonderful First Aid from Mastermind Creations. Now it's debated they're more chug scale than true masterpiece, but again gives you an idea between a sort of classic third party figure and a much more modern third party figure. So you can see he's a rather large robot. Okay, let's take a look at Godbomber, or Magnabomber as he's called here. This to me is, it serves a purpose, and it serves a purpose for the combined mode, be it Powermaster Prime or God Delta in this instance. The robot mode is, the alt mode rather, is something. I guess it's almost like an articulated truck of some description. Now you probably see in there that we have some drivers. So we flip that off now. that concerns me. You're also going to get a bit of strain on that plastic tab there, just in there, so something to be wary of with this figure in general. And we can then lift up the cab, and there you can see the Dia drivers. Now these guys are just little repainted versions of the headmasters that Fans Hobby has done, and they're really, it's a really cool colour scheme. Again, homages the Diaclone figures nicely, but for me they'll probably just stay in there. I'm not going to pop that back on, just I'm worried about that stress in the plastic. But yeah, it's an okay sort of alt mode. It's there. It's an option for you. Realistically, it's there to get towed at the back of the Powermaster alt mode. But for me personally, I'm not a big fan of this alt mode at all. Although the great big stonking rocket launcher done in that wonderful black and red rocket is lovely nonetheless. Plus, fantastic wheels. And here is Godbomber, or Magnabomber, in his robot mode. Now, I do like the robot mode, absolutely. I do, but it's not fun. And this is definitely the least favourite part for me for this combining set. Just with it being a parts former, getting those arms connected to the fists is just not intuitive in the slightest. You think you're doing it right. I don't know how it works, but you need to flip these gun barrels out while you pop in the arm parts, and then that somehow manages to make it secure, so I don't know what sort of black magic they're doing there. But it's an impressive looking figure, very much so, just as long as you don't really move it too much. You've got a lovely range of articulation on the figure, as you would expect. The arms can do a full 360 in and out. You get a bicep twist, slight bend at the arm, you get a waist swivel, you also get, you know, the leg articulation is there as well. I don't really want to handle it too much because I'm afraid it'll fall apart, because in some cases the slightest knock can make it come untabbed. You can see there in the crotch piece that that's coming untabbed already. So an impressive figure. If you're not touching it, looks nice on its own in a display, and the rocket launcher with the red missile, you do have a grey one if you wish to go with the more classic Godbomber look, is an option for you. But yeah, I don't have much nice to say about this, I'm afraid. We'll do a size comparison on this one. Again, we'll bring in the wonderful first aid just to give you an idea of how big this figure is. And of course we will bring back in Chrome Dome from Make Toys, or their version of Capola. Again, so you can see it's quite impressive in terms of size. It's nearly, I guess, close to on par with the Combiner Wars Devastator in terms of that height. So he is a very, like I said, impressive looking figure. Now, before I move on to the next step, let's take a look at the two weapons that you get with Godbomber, aside from his rocket launcher there. So you get two of these swords, which are fairly nicely done. Again, matching the colour scheme, but they do extend to this, knocking the table, this ridiculous level. And my goodness, very impressive, absolutely very impressive. Nice length to them there, give you an idea. But yeah, again, it just adds to that impressiveness of the figure itself. But once again, it's just not a figure that I'm feeling. And here we have the God Delta in his Power Baser mode, and this is, honestly, this is tremendous. If I just had this, obviously at a slightly cheaper price, I'd be more than happy. That head sculpt is tremendous, giving him the Powermaster look. It is, honestly, seeing this mould in hand is the only way really to do it justice. I can praise it all night long on this video, but my goodness, just the impressive stature of it. They really captured the essence of the original Godmaster or Powermaster Optimus Prime. Now, your head is on a full 360 ball joint, so you get that range of motion. The arms, again, on that ratchet, giving you just a fantastic range of motion. Wonderful bend at the elbow. The fingers are individually articulated, as well as the thumb. There is a tight waist swivel there. I don't want it too much. Well, actually there isn't. I thought there was. The legs are articulated to what you would expect them to be, but just because of the figure being as massive as it is, the articulation's impressive, but it's clunky at best. But with a figure on this scale and this size, you're not really going to worry too much about a fantastic level of articulation. And just looking at the legs, I hear that mighty ratchet. My goodness. And the ankle tilt there as well. Just, oh. The articulation is there. You will just find it hard to get this into a lot of poses just because of what it is, but it doesn't matter. It's just so impressive. Love the colours. Again, the colours once again coming into their own. Dark blue, black, yellow. Once again, that clear plastic popping, and of course you do have the little Powermaster that you can take off to expose the grille. Now, the Powermaster here is done in yellow just to give you that old style Diaclone colour scheme. But if we take a look at it, if we can get it focused, look at that head sculpt. That is tremendous. I absolutely love it. Brilliant figure, absolutely brilliant. Some fun articulation on him, but there we go, and he will stand quite comfortably on top of the Powermaster or Powerbaser. Now for weapons, we've seen it before. It is this blaster here, and that's just going to slot into his hands, nice and easy. And you do get the two of them, again echoing that original Powermaster Prime figure. Same idea as before, there's a little groove and he will just slot in and he will hold them quite nicely. I didn't slot it in there, but that gives you an idea. Again, that arsenal that this figure has is brilliant. And here we go, here is the combined mode into what they are calling God Delta. Is it an Ultra Magnus figure? That's debatable, that is debatable. This really is a homage to Delta Magnus more than anything else. Yes, you get the fantastic face sculpt there, you get the colour scheme, you get those wonderful missiles in the chrome red. So to me it's stretching to be a Magnus, but it's honestly just looking at it, it's that big I can't even fit it into my normal video review display. Honestly, this was so worth picking up at TF Nation. I'm not going to tell you the price I paid for it, but I definitely didn't pay what some people were asking for on the aftermarket. This is a figure I didn't think I was going to be able to get, but it was something that I was very fortunate to see at TF Nation, and that Paddy from Fingers on Plastic and Primetime Toys didn't pick up, because he knew this was something that I was definitely going to get. As a display piece, this figure is just unbeaten. I can't find anything that would top this in my collection in terms of sheer impressive stature. Giving you an idea of scale, let's bring in first aid, and of course let's bring back in Chrome Dome. And you can just see the size, it's ridiculous. Even if you don't get this version of the figure, you definitely do need to experience this Fans Hobby Powerbaser with God Armour, because it is such an impressive figure. It's making me rethink what I'm collecting at the moment in terms of Transformers, whether I should be going down routes like this or whether I should just stick to what I have. But being so impressed by this figure, I don't think anything's going to beat it. Yes, the fact is definitely an Ultra Magnus homage, and they've nailed these Delta colours to give him that Ultra Magnus feel. It certainly helps, but the impressiveness of it just cannot be beaten. So yeah, this definitely hasn't been a review. This has been a pure gush fest, and I'm stumbling over my words now because I've been filming this for well over an hour and a half. So I'd just like to say, first of all, thank you Paddy for not picking up this figure when you seen it, because you had the super early access being a trader. And yeah, this is one that will stay in my collection for the longest time. Thank you very much for watching this video. I will be back soon. I will be back soon with another video. Until then, hope everything's going okay.